think audiences want a full meal, you know, and so there's family drama, and there's action, and there's sci-fi, and there's even comedy, and so it really is, you know, kind of a full meal.
I'm Shirley Lee with Entertainment Weekly, and I am here with the cast and producers of Beyond, coming to Freeform soon. So, Tim, I'm going to start with you because you're known for creating heroes. Why tap back into this well about someone developing powers? Because that's what Beyond is about, right?
Yeah, although it's a very different take on that, much more grounded in sort of reality. It's not quite a superpower show, but it's another chance to tell a very big, deep mythology show, which I've always been fascinated with, and so yeah, no, we have something really special.
And David, on the end over there, I know you worked on sci-fi shows like Battlestar Galactica. How sci-fi is Beyond? It seems like there's.
Well, as Tim said, it's a very grounded style of sci-fi. You might find yourself watching a lot of the show and forgetting that it's a so-called genre show because it's so rooted in the here and now. It feels very accessible. It's like you're watching one of those great 80s Spielberg shows where the kids have their own lives, and there's a real sense of community and a realism about how everyone talks to each other, and it sort of disarms you. You forget that it's a genre show.
So it's just kind of like, right, it's reality, and then with a little mix of something beyond, which takes me to my next question, Adam. The title, Beyond, what is it implying there, aside from, is it beyond human?
Yeah, it's everything. It's just whatever lies just out of reach to human understanding. It's what lies out there scientifically, spiritually. In the case of Holden, very personally, it's just that that one area that's you can't quite reach, but something's out there, and it's just unattainable. And Beyond is basically the search for that.
Well then, Burkely, we've talked about these big ideas that are in Beyond, but tell me about your character, about Holden. Who is he?
Yeah, so Holden is such a cool character to play. He's a lot of depth in him in that he's rooted in reality, as we mentioned, and he's just a kid that's growing up. In saying that as well, he went into a coma for 12 years when he was 13, so he is a 13 adolescent mind that's trapped in a 25-year-old's body. So one of the fun parts of shooting the show, as well as the audience will see, is him experiencing all of those activities and truths and lies that we all experience when we're sort of growing up in front of you on screen.
Well, what drew you to this role? Was it the fact that he's kind of a boy trapped in a man, or?
It was absolutely. I mean, throughout the season as well as even just the pilot, it begins that journey, and I think the journey definitely attracted me to the script and to the project itself, and just sort of watching this character grow up right in front of your eyes.
So there are several different elements to this show, right? You've got Holden, who's dealing with this, and then the 12-year coma that wasn't really a 12-year coma. Can you guys tell me a little bit about building this idea, this intricate web, this mythology? Where did it come from?
Well, I mean, it started very much with just a story of a boy who has basically missed the most important chunk of any human's life, his adolescence. I really wanted to really just kind of tell a story about growing up, but do it all at once. Like he wakes up and suddenly he has to live those, 13 years immediately. And then it was just the more you kind of noodle the idea, well, what if he wasn't really in a coma, or what if his mind was somewhere else,
wandered beyond.
Exactly. And then it just became about making it as complicated of of an adolescence that we possibly could, I think.
And the cool thing about the premise is that premise of losing 12 years of your life and having to deal now as an adult with basically the psychological makeup of a 14-year-old, that's enough to make an entire show out of. And so that has that at the core of it, but then there's so much more to it.
And I have to assume the name Holden is taken from Catcher in the Rye, right? Or is it someone else?
Oh, it's, Catcher in
that
the
was the
Rye
inspiration.
was definitely on my mind when I
Gotcha.
came up with that.
Okay, well then just looking ahead, what can we expect from the series as a whole? Is it going to be, it's a coming of age story plus some supernatural elements plus a little bit of that 80s Spielbergian vibe you were talking about. What should we be looking forward to?
A wild ride.
That's concise.
There's a lot of very cool dynamics, as you mentioned. There's a lot of character-driven story. There's a lot of action-based story. There's a lot of ups and downs for each characters, and even in their relationships within there. So I think there's a lot of things that are going to keep audiences coming back to check out the characters, the action, the grittiness, everything that sort of is put out there. And I think we're really proud of everything that we've gotten.
I think it'll be fun for audiences to go on this journey with Holden, and kind of, Holden wakes up and he realizes he's not quite the same person that he was when he was 13. And things around him, his family has changed, and the world around him is completely different. And he has people, maybe coming after him. And from the very beginning, the audience is on that ride.
Well, everyone has things that frighten them. They're not sure why. They have things that turn them on. They're not sure why. They have things that make them feel inspired. They're not sure why. And this is, in a way, taking those eternal questions about why we feel compelled to do certain things, to run from certain things, to embrace certain dangers, and investigating them in a literal sense. So what if you could go back and actually look at what takes place in that world we all go to that informs who we are in our waking life, and examine those events, those traumas, those accomplishments that maybe are happening unbeknownst to us that inform who we are now. And that's really kind of where the show lives and where it dips its toe in the fantasy world.
Yeah, well, that's certainly a big idea, and I look forward to seeing Beyond. Now, stick with EW.com for more near Comic-Con coverage. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.